Hello all. Today we are going to discuss about image compression model. Image compression is the process of encoding or converting an image file in such a way that it consumes less space than the original file. It is a type of compression technique that reduces the size of image file without affecting or degrading its quality to a greater extent. An image compression system is composed of two distinct functional components, an encoder and decoder. The encoder performs compression and decoder performs the complementary operation of decompression. Both the operation can be performed in a software, as in the case in web browser and many commercial image editing programs, or in a combination of hardware and firmware. As in commercial DVD players, a codec is a device or a program that is capable of both encoding and decoding. Image compression models input image f of x comma y is fed into the encoder, which creates a compressed representation of input. The representation is stored for later use or transmitted for storage and use at a remote location. When the compressed representation is presented to its complementary decoder, a reconstructed output image f dash x comma y is generated. In still image applications, the encoded input and decoder output are f of x comma y and f dash or f bar x y comma y respectively. In video applications, they are f of x comma y comma t and f of bar x comma y comma t, where discrete parameter t specifies time. In general, f bar x comma y comma t may or may not be an exact replica of f of x comma y comma t. If it is, the compression system is called error-free, lossless, or information preserving. If not, the reconstructed output image is distorted and the compression system is referred to as a lossy compression system. The figure shows the functional block diagram of the general image compression system. First three blocks consist of the encoder, that is, it represents the encoder. That is, encoder consists of mapper, quantizer, and symbol coder, while the two boxes, that is symbol decoder and inverse mapper, are said to be a decoder. Let us we are discussing the function of encoder and decoder in brief. The encoder in a figure is designed to remove the redundancy through a series of three independent operations. In the first stage of encoding process, a mapper transforms f of x comma y into a format to reduce the spatial and temporal redundancy. This is a reversible operation. Example, run length coding. In the first stage of encoding process, a mapper transforms f of x comma y into a format designed to reduce spatial and temporal redundancy. This operation is generally reversible and may or may not reduce directly the amount of data required to represent the image. The run length coding is an example of mapping that normally yields the compression in the first step of encoding process. The mapping of an image into a set of less corrected transform coefficients is an example of the opposite case. In a video application, the mapper uses the video frames to facilitate the removal of temporal redundancy. The quantizer reduces the accuracy of the mapper's output in accordance with a pre-established fidelity criteria. The goal is to keep the irrelevant information out of the compressed representation. It must be omitted when error-free compression is desired. In video application, the bit rate of encoded output is often measured in bits per second and used to adjust the operation of quantizer, so that a predefined average output rate is maintained. Thus, the visual quantity of output can vary from frame to frame as a function of image content. In the third and the final stage of encoding process, that is symbol coder generates a fixed or a variable length code to represent quantizer output and map the output in accordance with the code. In many cases, a variable length code is used. The shortest code word are assigned to the most frequently occurring quantizer output values, thus minimizing the coding redundancy. This operation is reversible. Upon its completion, the input image has been processed for the removal of each of the three redundancy. Then the next step or the next block is decoder or decompression process. A decoder, as shown in figure, contains only two components, that is symbol decoder and inverse mapper. They perform in a reverse order the reverse operation of encoder symbols, encoder and mapper, because quantization results in irreversible information loss and E-inverse quantizer block is not included in the general decoder model. In video applications, decoded output frames are maintained in an internal frame store and used to reinsert the temporal redundancy that was removed at the encoder. This is all about the basic image compression model. Normally, the basic image compression model consists of the two parts, two sections, that is encoder and decoder, that is compression and decompression process. The next topic is image formats, containers and compression standard. Image file format tells how the data is arranged and the type of compression used. Image container similar to the file format and handle multiple types of image data. Image compression standard defines the procedures for compressing and decompressing. In a digital imaging, an image file format is a standard way to organize and store the image data. It defines how the data is arranged and the type of compression, if any, that is used. An image container is similar to the file format but they handle multiple types of image data. Image compression standard, on the other hand, define the procedure for compressing and decompressing the images. That is, for reducing the amount of data needed to represent an image. These standards are underpinning of the widespread acceptance of image compression techniques. The figure shows the list of the most important image compression standard, file formats and container in use today, grouped by the type of image handle. The entires in black are international standard sanctions by International Standard Organization, that is ISO, and the International Electrotechnic Commission IEE and International Telecommunication Union ITU. A United Nations organization that was once called Consultative Committee of the International Telephone and Telegraph, that is CCITT. Two video compression standard, that is VC1 by Society of Motion Pictures and Television Engineers and EVS by the Chinese Ministry of the Information Industry are also included. Note that they are shown in a gray. Our next topic is basic compression methods. There are some basic compression methods are, first one, Huffman coding, Golomb coding, arithmetic coding, LZW coding, run length coding, one-dimensional CCITT compression, two-dimensional CCITT compression, and symbol-based coding. We are discussed in detail one by one. First one is Huffman coding. Huffman coding. This is the one of the most popular techniques for removing the coding redundancy. When the coding the symbol of an information source individually, the Huffman code yields the smallest possible number of code symbol per source symbol. In terms of Shannon theorem, the resulting code is optimal for a fixed value of n, subject to the constant that the spouse symbols to be coded one at a time. The source symbol may be either the intensity of an image or the output of intensity mapping operations like pixel difference, run length, etc. When the coding the symbol of an information source individually, Huffman coding yields the smallest possible number of code symbols per source symbol. The first step in Huffman's approach is to create a series of source reduction by ordering the probabilities of the symbols under consideration and combining the lowest probability symbols into a single symbol that replaces them in the next source reduction. As the figure illustrates this process for binary coding. At the far left, a hypothetical set of source symbol and their probabilities are ordered from top to bottom in terms of decreasing probability values. To form the first source reduction, the bottom two probabilities 0.06 and 0.04 are combined to form a compound symbol with a probability of 0.1. These compound symbol and its associated probability are placed in the first source reduction column so that the probabilities of the reduced source also are ordered from the most of the least probable. This process is then repeated until a reduced source with a 2 symbol is reached. The second step in a Huffman procedure is to code each reduced source starting with the smallest source and working back to the original source. The minimal length binary code for a 2 symbol source, of course, are the symbols 0 and 1. As figure shows, these symbols are assigned to the 2 symbols on the right. The assignment is arbitrary, reversing the order of 0 and 1 would work just as well. As the reduced source symbol with the probability 0.6 was generated by combining 2 symbols in the reduced source to its left. The 0 used to code it is now assigned to both of these symbols, and a 0 and 1 are arbitrarily appended to each to distinguish them from each other. This operation is then repeated and the entropy of the source is 2.14 bits per symbol. Each reduced source until the source is reached, the final code appears at the left in the figure. Then the average length of this code is given by L average is equal to 2.2 bits per pixel, and the entropy of the source is 2.14 bit per symbol. Huffman procedure creates the optimal code for a set of symbol and probability subjects to the constraint that the symbol be coded one at a time. After the code has been created, coding and or error-free decoding is accomplished in a simple lookup table manner. The code itself is an instantaneous, uniquely decodable block code. It is called as a block code because each source symbol is mapped into a fixed sequence of code symbols. It is instantaneous because each code word in a string of a code symbol can be decoded without referencing the succeeding symbol. It is uniquely decodable because any string of the code symbols can be decoded in only one way. Thus, any string of the Huffman encoded symbol can be decoded by examining the individual symbols of the string in the left to the right manner. The figure 512 by 512 by 8-bit monochrome image in figure A has the intensity histogram shown in figure B because the intensities are not equally probable. A MATLAB implementation of Huffman's procedure was used to encode them with 7.4 to 8 bits per pixel, including the Huffman code table that is required to reconstruct the original 8-bit image intensity. The compressed representation exceeds the estimated entropy of the image. The resulting compression ratio and the corresponding relative redundancy are given by C is equal to and R is equal to. C is equal to 1.077 and R is equal to 0.0715 respectively. Thus, 7.15% of the original 8-bit fixed length intensity representation was removed as a coding redundancy. This is all about the Huffman coding. The next type of coding is arithmetic coding. In a theory, an arithmetic coding algorithm encodes an entire file as a sequence of symbols into a single decimal number. The input symbols are processed one at each iteration. The initial interval 0, 1 or 0, 1 is the successively divided into subintervals on each iteration according to the probability distribution. Unlike the variable length code, arithmetic coding generates non-block code. In arithmetic coding, which can be traced to the work of ELIX, a one-to-one correspondence between symbol source, that is source symbol, and code word does not exist. Instead, an entire sequence of source symbol is assigned a single arithmetic code word. The word itself defines an interval of real numbers between 0 and 1. As the number of symbols in the message increases, the interval used to represent it becomes smaller, and the number of information units required to represent the interval becomes larger. Each symbol of the message reduces the size of the interval in accordance with its probability occurrence, because the technique does not require, as does Huffman's approach, that each source symbol translate into an integral number of code symbols, that is, that the symbols be coded one at a time. It achieves, but only in a theory, the bound established by Shannon's first theorem. The figure illustrates the basic arithmetic coding procedure. Here, a 5-symbol sequence or messages, that is A1, A2, A3, A4, A5 from a 4-symbol source is coded. At the start of the coding process, the message is assumed to occupy the entire half open interval 0, 1. As a table shows, this interval is subdivided initially into 4 regions based on the probability of each source symbol. Symbol A1, for example, is associated with the subinterval 0, 0.2 because it is the first symbol of the message being coded. The message interval is initially now narrow to 0.0, 0.02. Thus, the figure is expanded to the full height of the figure, and its end point is labeled by the values of narrow range. The narrow range is then subdivided in accordance with the original source symbol probability, and the process continues with the next message symbol. In this manner, the symbol A2 narrows the subinterval to 0.04, 0.08. A3 further narrow it to the 0.056, 0.072, and so on. The final message symbol, which must be reserved as a special end of message indicator, narrow the range to 0.06752, 0.0688. Of course, any number within this subinterval, for example 0.068, can be used to represent the message. This is all about the arithmetic coding procedure. Then next topic is adaptive context dependent probability estimate. Adaptive probability model update a symbol probability as symbols are coded and or become known. Arithmetic coders are nearer optimal in the sense of minimizing the average number of code symbols required to represent the symbols being coded. Like in the both Huffman and Golomb coding, however, the inaccurate probability models can be lead to non-optimal result. A simple way to improve the accuracy of the probabilities employed is to use an adaptive constraint dependent probability model. Adaptive probability models update symbol probability as the symbols are coded or become known. Thus, the probability adapt to the local statistic of the symbols being coded. Context-dependent model provide the probability that are based on the predefined neighborhood of the pixel, called the context, around the symbol being coded. Normally, the casual constraint one limited to symbol that have already been coded is used. Both the Q coder and MQ coder, two well-known arithmetic coding techniques that have been incorporated into the JBIG, JPEG 2000 and other important image compression standard, use the probability models that are both adaptive and context dependent. The Q coder dynamically updates the symbol probabilities during the interval renormalizations that are the part of the arithmetic coding procedure. Figure 8 diagrams the step involved in adaptive context-dependent arithmetic coding of binary source. Arithmetic coding often is used when the binary symbols are to be coded. As each symbol begins the coding process, its construct is formed in the context determination block of Figure A. Figure B through Figure D show the three possible contexts that can be used. First, the immediately preceding symbol, second, a group of preceding symbol, and the third one is some number of preceding symbol plus symbol of the previous scan line. For the three cases shown, the probability estimation block must manage. The appropriate probabilities are then passed to the arithmetic coding block as a function of the current context and drive the generation of the arithmetically coded output sequence in accordance with the process illustrated in the above figure. The probability associated with the constraint involved in the current coding step are then updated to reflect the fact that another symbol within that constraint have been processed. Then next type of coding is LZW coding. It is the algorithm of widely used Unix file compression utility compress and is used in the GIF image format. The idea relies on occurring the pattern to save the data space. LZW is the foremost technique for general purpose data compression due to its simplicity and versatility. In this section, we consider an error-free compression approach that also addresses the spatial redundancy in an image. The technique called Lempel-Jew-Welch, that is LZW coding, assign fixed length code word to variable length sequence of the source symbol. LZW coding is conceptually very simple. At the onset of the coding process, a code book or a dictionary containing the source symbol to coded is constructed. For 8-bit monochrome images, the first 256 words of the dictionary are assigned to intensity 0, 1, 2 up to 255. As the encoder sequentially examines the image pixels, the intensity sequence that are not in the dictionary are placed in algorithmically determined location. If the first 2 pixels of an image are white, for the instant sequence 255 minus 255 might be assigned to a location 256. The address following the location reserved for intensity level 0 to 255. The next time the pixels are encountered, code word 256, the address of the location containing the sequence 255 is used to represent them. If the 9-bit 512 word dictionary is employed in a coding process, the original 8 plus 8 bits are that were used to represent the 2 pixels are replaced by the single 9-bit code word. Clearly, the size of dictionary is an important system parameter. If it is too small, the detection of the machine matching intensity level sequences will be less likely. If it is too large, the size of the code word will adversely affect the compression performance. The table details the step involved in the coding. It's 16 pixels. A 512 word dictionary with the following starting content is assumed. Location 256 through 511 initially are unused. The image is encoded by processing its pixel in a left to right, top to bottom manner. Each successive intensity value is concatenated with a variable column 1 of a table called the currently recognized sequence. As can be seen, this variable is initially null or empty. The dictionary is searched for the each concatenated sequence, and if found, as was the case in the first row of the table, is replaced by the newly concatenated and recognized sequence. A unique feature of the LZW coding just demonstrated is that the coding dictionary or a code book is created while the data are being encoded. Remarkably, an LZW decoder builds an identical decompression dictionary as it decodes simultaneously the encoded data stream. It is left as an exercise to the reader to decode the output of the preceding example and reconstruct the code book. Alternately, the list dictionary entires can be tracked and replaced when necessary. This is all about the LZW coding. Thank you.